perhaps your parents or just generally members of the older generation have detracted video games. They've said, you know, this generation sucks. All they do is spend their time on their phones or on their consoles playing video games. They've ruined their childhoods, they've ruined themselves, and there's just so many better things they could do. Now, on the other hand, you have people who play video games and they say, you know what? We get a lot out of these video games. We get not just entertainment, but we get to learn. We get to learn about ourselves. We get to learn about others through interactions via online platforms and games. And overall, it's just, we think it's a great way to spend our time. So you have these two opposing viewpoints. And I think, you know, just taking a viewpoint on video games in general is actually the wrong mindset. People are asking the wrong question. What people should be asking is, what video games are beneficial? Perhaps some are in fact better than others. Now, I can tell you that, yeah, there are definitely some video games which are just a waste of time. You don't get anything out of them beyond the first 5 minutes. But on the other hand, there are video games which will teach you so much. So I'll go to an analogy from my childhood. I wasted my childhood playing a video game called RuneScape. It's a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. So basically you have a character, you have stats, you go kill monsters, do quests, and most of the game is a grind because you have stats, and of course you want to be better than your friends. So what do? Well, you basically grind your stats, and what I mean by that is you keep on clicking in a particular sequence on particular objects, and as you do that, I mean, you level up your character. So that was the whole game. That was my childhood. Clicking on a screen. Click, 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 click. And literally, I shared my account with a few friends because that way I'd level up faster and I'd be the best character. So I had 3 years of playing time on my account when I quit. So that just says a lot. I wasted 3 years of my childhood on that game. And I would definitely take it all back if I could. So, what are the sort of games from which you don't learn anything, on which you just spend all your time and get nothing out of? Well, I think if a game is a subscription-based game, there's a pretty decent chance it's not worth your time, and you should find something better to do. Now, on the other hand, there are games which are very beneficial. I think there are a few key elements that make a game worthwhile. I think first is, does it have any sort of puzzle-based elements? I mean, does it require you to use your mind, exercise your intellect? Second, does it have a story? Now, I think it's natural for humans, just like, as a species, we just love stories, and we learn a lot from stories. We learn from not just, you know, people say you learn from history because you won't repeat the past. Well, you learn from stories because you learn the lessons from those stories, and if a character makes a mistake, you won't make that same mistake in real life, or at least there's a lesser chance if you've seen an instance of that mistake in a story. So what are some video games that I think are beneficial? Well, let's see. How about one popular game is Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. That's a very popular one. So you never do the same thing twice. There's a puzzle and everything. There's a story being told throughout the whole game. Perfect. That's perfect. You might spend a lot of time on it, but you get a lot out of it. Another good video game is, let's say, Minecraft. As long as you don't waste hours upon hours on it, I mean, you can learn a lot from it. So, for example, being a computer scientist, I decided to make my own computer with Minecraft. And then that's a way to exercise your mind and then just test out real-world concepts. So, I think if you're a parent, and I don't think any of us are, but if you are, I wouldn't take a blanket policy on video games. I try to analyze them on a case-by-case basis, find out what would be good, what would benefit your child, and then work from there.